Hey MEAC fam, this is Sonia Stills, your Senior Associate Commissioner for the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, and this is this decade's first MEAC Timeout. It's our favorite month of the year. That's right, it's Black History Month, and we are here with a very special episode as we highlight prominent MEAC African American figures who were committed to Black excellence. So let's get started with what's happening in the MEAC with Jasmine Richmond.
Can I get an Aggie pride? We have to begin by congratulating the 2019 Celebration Bowl champions, the North Carolina A&T Aggies. It was a close call as the football season came to an end, but it was North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State who merged victorious as they both became the 2019 regular season co-champions. The Aggies made their way back to Atlanta, Georgia for the Celebration Bowl as they took on Alcorn State Braves for the third consecutive year, and as deja vu would have it, the Aggies came out on top. In other news, basketball season is here and things are heating up. Don't forget to purchase your ticket books for the 2020 MEAC basketball tournament. MEAC Hoops will be bringing the heat like you've never seen it before, and you don't want to miss it. The tournament will begin Tuesday, March 10th, and continue with an exciting week of games leading up to the men's and women's championship game to air live Saturday, March 14th, 2020.
Thanks, Jasmine, and congratulations again to North Carolina A&T State University. All right, Aggies. Now, let's give it to Jasmine and Destiny to give us a little taste of what's going on in compliance.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Destiny.
And today, I'd like to highlight a disease prevalent among the Black community, sickle cell. In short, those suffering with this ailment possess blood cells that vary differently from that of the typical donut-shaped cell. These blood cells are misshapen and resemble the shape of a crescent or reaping hook, also known as a sickle. This is how the disease got its name.
In fact, the results of this cause early cell death and prevents healthy oxygen and blood flow through the body. Research reports that sickle cell came about as a regional adaptation in areas where malaria was the most prominent. It was the body's way of creating defense.
That's right. Now there is a difference between having the sickle cell anemia disease and possessing the sickle cell trait. Those who have sickle cell disease may suffer symptoms such as body pains, fatigue, and low oxygen.
The other half are those that only carry the trait. This group doesn't typically see symptoms of the counterparts. However, athletes with the trait still need to take certain precautions by staying well hydrated and listening to their bodies.
We're featuring this in the Compliance Corner as there was an outbreak of cell-related incidents in collegiate sports in the early 2000s.
Yes, and it wasn't until 2010, 10 years later, that the NCAA required all Division I athletes to be screened for the trait before the start of their respective season.
This can be found in Bylaw 17, the sickle cell solubility test. This applies particularly to student athletes beginning their initial season of eligibility.
Now, it is highly likely that new student athletes already know their statuses from birth certificates, past medical reports, and formal physicals. This bylaw is non-applicable if a student athlete can submit this documentation. However, if a student athlete is not aware of their status and has no documentation that supports that they do not have the disease or is a carrier, the NCAA requires mandatory trait status education.
Even if you aren't a student athlete, you should know your status. The government reports that approximately 3 million people living in the United States carry the trait. Many are unaware.
Again, this piece was only to be informative. By no means was this meant to dampen the glory that is Black History Month.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Destiny.
And this has been a Compliance Corner.
What's good, MEAC fam, and welcome to this month's edition of Run It Back, where we will talk about the top figures in MEAC history as part of Black History Month. At number 5 is Ed Hill Jr. The legendary Howard University Sports Information Director is just the 5th African American to be named to the Co-Sider Hall of Fame, after spending 33 years on the hilltop covering the Bison. He helped jumpstart the career of many sports communication professionals and was inducted into the MEAC Hall of Fame in 2010. At number 4 is Art Shell, attendee of the formerly named Maryland State, now known as the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. He spent 16 years in the NFL and was an 8-time Pro Bowler and 4-time All-Pro in 1989. He became the first Black coach in the modern era when he was named the coach of the Oakland Raiders. At number 3 is Don Corbett, Corbett guided North Carolina A&T to an unprecedented conference record, 7 straight MEAC titles from 1982 to 1988, which is tied with Kentucky for the longest such streak in Division I. He also won 6 regular season titles and was named Coach of the Year 6 times. Holding it down at number 2 is former Morgan State football player Clarence Big House Gaines. Gaines pivoted to hoops and coached Winston-Salem State for 47 years, where he guided them to the 1967 NCAA Division title. It became the first HBCU to win an NCAA championship in any sport. He coached players such as Earl the Pearl Monroe, Cleo Hill, and Stephen A. Smith. Big House was eventually named into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Our top MEAC figure is Cy McLaren, who spent 59 years on Bethune-Cookman's campus as a player, basketball coach, football coach, and athletic director. He is the winningest basketball coach in school history with a school record 397 wins. He was named Coach of the Year in basketball in 1989 and football in 1994. Coach Cy also briefly played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he was named All-Pro in 1958. He was named to the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, SIAC Hall of Fame, Bethune-Cookman Athletics Hall of Fame, and the MEAC Hall of Fame. And that's a wrap for this month's edition of Run It Back. Special shout out to those whose shoulders we stand on, and with that, I'm gonna send it over to Ms. Sills.
Here at the MEAC, we pride ourselves on continuing the legacy of those who came before us. Our presidents and chancellors, athletic directors, coaches, and athletic staff work towards one goal, and that's to educate our student athletes for the game of life. This is Sonia Stills signing off, and if you can't be anything else, be epic.